What's going on, everybody? So this morning I'm going to be going out to a few hardware stores and places to build a greenhouse. This week I don't have my little one with me. I have Lily, but I'll be able to get a few things done around here and take care of a couple things while she's not here, so that way when she comes back we'll be able to play and have fun and do all sorts of stuff and plant things in the greenhouse. Now that spring is coming, this year I'd like to plant a lot more tomatoes. Last year I did actually a lot less tomatoes. Let me correct myself. So last year I did something like 37 tomato plants in my yard here. It's kind of early in the morning, so I'll show you the chickens. The ladies are up early like always. But last year I did something like 37 tomato plants, and they didn't do good. I had a lot of tomatoes grow, but I didn't eat one single one, because during the summer here where I live, it gets really rainy and it gets really hot at certain times, so I can't really predict that weather so much. So my tomato plants, the amount of water that I would give them would end up cracking them open, or it would get too hot and that would end up splitting them, or bugs got to them. I had a real problem with mole crickets that I didn't know were going to be that big of an issue, and ended up being a pretty big issue. So this year I'm going to do it in a little bit more of a controlled setting. So once I go to the store and pick out which greenhouse, or maybe I might build it all myself, but yeah, I wouldn't mind building it all myself. It's just kind of a long process. Obviously, you know, you're building from the ground up. So I'm gonna go look at some pre-made greenhouses, and maybe I can add on to them and change some things how I want and see how that goes. So that's gonna be today, since it's my day off of my regular job. All right, so I went to the store and I found a greenhouse that I think will work okay for what I need, at least for this summer. Since it is now spring and starting to get hot outside, starting to get nice, and it's gonna be perfect to start kind of planting tomatoes. I did buy some already started tomatoes because I'm gonna start more in the greenhouse. I didn't buy very many already started tomatoes, but I've had such bad luck with the ones that I've already had that I decided to just go ahead and try some ones that somebody else already started and go from there. But the cool thing is the greenhouse that I got. It's kind of cheap, but I think I can make it nice and I can make it work. And I'm sure a lot of people out there are gonna go, that greenhouse not really gonna work, but I just got a simple little greenhouse that's easy to assemble, and then maybe next year I'll be building a bigger one, a nicer one, or if this one works out really well, I can just kind of add on to it and build from there. So I'm gonna set this up and start assembling. I also have to clear out all of this. Okay, it's time for me to reveal. There's just a bunch of scraps of stuff. It's really not that bad. Okay, well, let me set up the camera and let's get to it. Okay, so I did a lot of clearing out and I mowed my whole entire yard, the front and back. It's kind of hot outside, so yeah, sweating a little bit. I'm sure some of you might be wondering what these are for, or why I have old bed frames. So my plan about a year ago was to actually go ahead and build a greenhouse anyway. And then I was gonna build the greenhouse and put these old bed frames, kind of reuse them and put them next to the greenhouse as like trellises. So that way I could grow things like beans on the outside and just kind of hang flowers from them, put flower pots in there. But since last year it didn't really pan out, and I ended up building a chicken coop and taking care of chickens, and I had way more plants than I could really handle at the time. So I kind of left those right there. Oh, I'm gonna sit down. Now that everything's finished, as far as the mowing, we can get to the fun stuff. The greenhouse. Yeah. Really glad that I didn't decide to cut down the center of this box, because all the greenhouse plastic is right there. So I would have cut straight through this. It's basically a snap together greenhouse. Oh, look at that. Directions. These are the worst directions ever. This is just one paper. Okay, well, cue the fast motion. So, I kind of messed up. I used the wrong poles in the wrong spot. So I'm gonna have to take the bottom part. It's not a big mess up, but these things happen. Every time you're building, you always have to kind of work on something. And this isn't really building. This is like Legos. These all just snap together. So it's super simple. And hopefully this will kind of show everybody and anybody that you can kind of build a cool greenhouse. At the end of it, I'm gonna try and jazz it up a little bit more because I'm not too sure about this whole setup. But like I said, I can always build onto it. But okay, take those apart, put the right ones back on. Should take another minute. All right, cue the fast motion. Okay, the greenhouse is now done. Took the hat off, no crazy hair time, but it's hot out here. So this, let me kind of back up here, show you guys. All right, check that out. It's not bad, actually. I am a little bit curious how it's gonna go. I'm gonna have to stake it down. It's smaller, maybe. Like I saw a display of it, and where I bought it, and this was pretty cheap. This is a pretty cheap greenhouse. It was only 80 bucks, and really, in my opinion, like you can't beat that. That's not bad for 80 bucks. It's just some snap together poles and everything. I'm sure I could have built this out of wood and built a really nice one. Would have spent a lot more money, and it would have been a lot more time, and I just kind of want to get one up this year. So oh well, whatever. You go a little bit cheap, and maybe it'll work out and maybe it won't, but 80 bucks, I can't really argue with it. And it wasn't hard to build. It didn't take very long at all. So both sides unzip. This thing seems pretty, I mean, it all seems pretty okay, pretty sturdy. Where I live, we get hurricanes, so we'll see. I'm gonna definitely have to tie it down. Let me get you guys in here. Okay, so inside of this greenhouse, look at that. Look at that. not bad, right? Look, you know, there's already a bug in here. Look, there's already bugs living in here. So, I mean, something's got to be growing. Anyway, so it has these shelves here. The shelves just kind of sit here, and I don't know how sturdy they will be to hold much up, but I'm sure for holding the few little pots that I'm gonna put on here for tomatoes and stuff, this is kind of where I'm gonna plant, or I'm gonna start. I'm gonna do a lot of seed starting in here. And yeah, wow, this thing, it's pretty warm and stagnant in here as it is. But more than likely what I'll end up doing, oh, look at that, some lima beans from last year. See, a few lima beans. I don't know if that's gonna focus in. A few lima beans sitting in here already. I gotta get those out before they end up growing somehow and going everywhere. But I'm probably gonna put kind of a wood floor inside of this greenhouse here. Looks like everything kind of ties up as well. Sorry, ties up as well, where the whole thing can be pretty secure. Like I said, I don't know how well it's gonna hold up. Obviously this thing is pretty light, so I'm definitely going to use some, maybe tent ties or something like that, some spikes, tent spikes, to kind of hold it. I gotta get out of here, this is warm. That's gonna be great though, but I gotta use something to tie that down and make sure it's not gonna go anywhere. Now then, I am still going to use these old bed frames next to this on the sides, and maybe that'll help kind of sturdy it up and keep things safe too. Yeah, we're not gonna worry about that. So I'm gonna take a brief minute to relax and kind of talk to you guys. So the reason a lot of stuff is in a little bit of a disarray as far as the yard goes and as far as the house. My house is pretty much complete, but I bought it a little over 3 years ago, and the house needed a lot of work at the time. Floors needed to be redone, a lot of tile had to be pulled up, plumbing had to be redone, some electrical, and many of things had to be fixed up in the house. This isn't the most comfortable bench. Many of things had to be fixed up in the house. So it's been kind of a work in progress. And at first I wanted to do my yard, and I had a lot of plans for doing everything like I'm doing now, as far as just kind of the fun stuff. Now this week without Lily, it's always a little bit tough for me because I love my daughter so much, to not have her with me when I do a lot of fun stuff or stuff that I think would be fun. So I try and get like the major stuff that she would maybe be bored with out of the way, so that way we can do stuff like, oh, we'll plant seeds and we'll plant tomatoes and we'll plant stuff and we'll do stuff. So that way she can have more fun and it's more of her pace to be able to do stuff. But also I'd like to teach her absolutely everything I can. And she's helped me build stuff. I mean, having a kid right next to you and watching them at the same time can be really tough, but it gets done. Luckily, I have the help of my mother, who comes over and she takes care of my daughter. So she's my savior and she's helped me a ton. And I have family and friends who have also pitched in and really helped me a whole bunch. So I'm fortunate there. But still, the majority of the taking care of the little one and doing all this stuff falls on me. But I'm happy to do it. Why not? Anyway, back to work. Okay, so I moved the greenhouse over there. I ended up cutting down these trellises. Yeah, trellis. I ended up cutting these down, the bed frames. I cut the, or box springs or whatever you want to call them. I ended up cutting them down to size, so that way they would match up to the edge. So that way I can kind of start to stack plants on the outside of this as well. So I think this is gonna work really, really well. Let's get a view of everything here. There we go. So it'll look pretty nice once it's all done, I think. Can't wait to start putting some vegetables in the greenhouse, start growing some more vegetables, getting everything set up, and get Lily out here to come hang out and play and have a lot of fun. Thank you all for watching. Thank you everybody so far who's tuned in, checked out the channel. I really appreciate it. It means a whole bunch, and I hope you're enjoying some of the content. I know I'm kind of feeling everything out and getting used to talking to a camera, getting used to feeling more comfortable in front of the camera, and as I do, as I get better at it, I hope you guys will continue to stick around and enjoy. I know there's, oh, I just broke my seat. Thank you guys again. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back next time for more. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't understand why so many dollar weeds get in this lettuce. I could pick all of them out, and tomorrow there's so many more. I don't know if I want to do a lettuce segment. Oh yeah, lettuce segment. Spinach. No, there's nothing I can do with spinach. Maybe I should get my hat like this. There we go. We're going full dad mode on this one. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. Topsoil. All day, I'm gonna hang out with chickens. I think the channel needs more chickens. It just needs all chickens. All the time. We're changing the channel. Look at this. I legitimately broke this box with my butt. With my butt. With my butt. I broke it. I had all that fun doing all that stuff. Now I gotta clean up everything.